Hello, my name is Steve Stauning, and you're joining me for Gaining the Undeniable Advantage. Today we're talking about the perfect appointment. Now, let's just dive right in. You're probably thinking, hey Steve, we don't need no stinking appointments. Why do we need appointments anyway, right? Well, let's talk about this. You do need appointments, and here's why. Did you know that the average dealer today still only closes about 1 in every 5 of their traditional ups? That's right, 20%. But these same average dealers close roughly 2 out of 5 of their appointments without any special treatment. So given this, we already know we need appointments, right? We can go from 20% close to 40% close. But guess what? If we will give our appointments special treatment, like we call the perfect appointment, what we're going to teach today, you can expect to close 80% or more of your appointments that show up on time. And more than that, traditional ups today, even in 2017, 2018, these things still take 3 hours or more to close. It doesn't make any sense. But appointments, even appointments not done right, generally take less than 2 hours. And the perfect appointment, when you do it right, should take you less than 60 minutes from start to finish, including F&I in your dealership. Now, dealers also receive perfect CSI scores when they do the perfect appointment. But even if you're not doing the perfect appointment, dealers receive better CSI overall for their appointments than for their traditional ups. Now, finally, the reason that we have to go to an appointment culture and that we have to do the perfect appointment in your dealership is that today's buyers know exactly what they want. See, your up bus is dying because today's buyers are visiting fewer stores than ever before. About 10 years ago, the average buyer actually visited 5 dealership lots before they bought. Today, it's fewer than 2 dealership lots, and McKinsey & Company say buyers only visit 1.6 dealers before they buy a car today. So, given this, can you afford to be third on the list for any buyer? No way, because you're not going to sell them a car. Now, today, I'm going to teach you how to execute the 2017 updated version of the perfect appointment. I'll show you what's worked for dealers over the years, and more importantly, I'm also going to tell you and show you what hasn't worked for dealers. Now, my goal is to make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes they did. Listen, it's called the perfect appointment for a reason. This means let's do it my way and then improve it. Dealers who have failed, and I've taught hundreds how to do the perfect appointment, and dealers who have failed to get to an 80% show and an 80% close all have little things that they've changed that they've decided to do instead of what we taught them with the perfect appointment. And I'm going to show you some of the things that they've done and why they're not getting 80% shows and why they're not getting 80% closes. All right, let's dive right in. There's only 2 sections today. It's going to go a little bit quicker than our normal Undeniable Advantage video webcast because now we're into the perfect appointment already. There are 4 steps to the perfect appointment. And by the way, again, it's called the perfect appointment for a reason. Shortcutting any of these steps reduces either your show rates or your close rates or both. You want to improve it? Great. Prove you can do it my way first and then improve it and measure. But let me be clear what I'm talking about. So the 4 steps are strong appointment setting, appropriate appointment confirmation, pre-appointment preparation, and in-store VIP treatment. Let's talk about the first one for just a second, strong appointment setting. You might be thinking, well, Steve, how can shortcutting strong appointment setting actually reduce close rates? Won't it just affect show rates? And the answer is no. Dealers who set weak appointments have a lower show rate, of course, but those customers who do show buy at a much lower rate because 1, they didn't know they had an appointment, and 2, the store is generally not ready for an appointment because it was a weak appointment set. It may show up 2 hours early. They may show up 2 hours late. Either way, we can't do the perfect appointment unless they show up on time. So let's all agree that if you want to do the perfect appointment, you need to learn my way first, get to 80% show, get to 80% close, and then make adjustments, then make improvements to make it fit what you're doing. All right, step 1 is strong appointment setting. And if you want to set strong appointments, all you got to do is remember the goal. The only goal when you have someone on the phone is what? That's right, an appointment that shows. You have one goal when you get someone on the phone, and it's an appointment that shows. Your goal is not to build rapport. Your goal is not to try to build value in the dealership or the vehicle. You have one goal when you get someone on the phone, and that's an appointment that shows. Wherever the conversation goes, you circle it back to your goal, which is an appointment that shows. And this takes discipline. Most salespeople, most BDC agents don't have that discipline. So when I try to teach you what is strong appointment setting, it's actually going to be easier to illustrate what strong appointment setting is by giving you a couple of examples of weak appointment setting. These are the things that we've run into over the years on stores that say, Steve, I can't get to an 80% show. We're stuck at 50% or 60% show. And the stores always have two phrases in their vocabulary for their BDC or their internet salespeople. And you've got to strike these two phrases from your vocabulary when you're talking to customers over the phone. Those two phrases are, when would you like to come in? And can I answer any more questions for you? See, strong appointment setting requires control of the call. And this is not politeness. This is weakness. You lose control of the call when you say, when would you like to come in? For example, when you say, when would you like to come in? You're saying, hey, we're never busy. The car's going to be here forever. There's no rush. Shop around first, right? Come on in whenever you're ready. That's a weak talk track, and you're giving all the control of the call to the caller. You need to stay in control of the call to have strong appointment setting. So never, ever, ever say, when would you like to come in? Also, when you ask the customer, are there any more questions that I can answer for you? Did you have any more questions for us? You're inviting more questions. See, even when the prospect was completely ready to buy, they're going to throw up some smokescreen questions because you've asked them, do you have any more questions? They're going to say, well, yeah, does it have third row seats, right? See, they're afraid of you. This is why they've called you or why they've submitted a lead. They're afraid to buy a car, but they want to buy a car. And as we know from a great Auto Trader study, basically everybody hates the process of buying a car. So they're afraid of you, they hate the process of buying a car, and then your weak speak, your weak appointment setting by talking to them on the phone and saying, are there any more questions I can answer for you, has given them an opportunity to just throw up some smoke screens. Listen, take charge and be direct so that you can set more appointments that show right from the beginning. Okay, so the first goal of an appointment that shows was that's our only goal, right? The only goal, once we get someone on the phone, is an appointment that shows. The second rule of strong appointment setting is to only set your appointments for today or tomorrow only. See, your goal is an appointment that shows. So go ahead. Today's Wednesday. We're recording this on Wednesday. Go ahead and set a Saturday appointment on a Wednesday because you're going to cut your show rates in half versus setting appointments for Wednesday or Thursday today. If today is Wednesday, my goal when I'm talking to someone on the phone is an appointment that shows today or tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not trying to set appointments for Saturday. Saturdays take care of themselves. And so if you are setting appointments for Saturday on Wednesday, you have a lower than average show rate, and you're never going to get to an 80% show rate because that's weak. You've got to be strong in all of these things that we do. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but Steve, they can't come in until Saturday, right? Okay, listen, in the case of internet appointments, this is where someone's contacted us, not where we've tried to get to them through, say, owner marketing or BBAC, but internet appointments. These are people who've said, I want to buy, right? They sent us an order, they sent us a lead, or they made a call. Those are called orders in the internet department. So they've submitted an order to buy a car. In the case of those, I will allow appointments for more than 48 hours away, but only as a last resort. So if today is Wednesday, and I've tried for Wednesday, and I've tried for Thursday, and I can't come in and get them to come in tonight after work, I can't get them to come in during their lunch hour, they're out of town, whatever, then I'll allow a Saturday appointment, only if there's no other way that I can get them here before Saturday. However, I'm telling you right now that usually when you see Saturday appointments set from a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Tuesday or a Monday, these are 100% the result of a weak appointment word track and a failure on the part of your BDC agent or your internet salesperson to create any kind of urgency in the prospect. Now, weak appointment tracks that include, when would you like to come in? They choose the weekend, right? This is America. When people ask us when we want to buy something big, we say the weekend. We think Saturdays. We think Sundays. Another weak appointment talk track includes when you say, what works best, mornings or afternoons? See, when you ask them something silly like that, and I know a lot of the OEMs will teach you to ask what works best, morning or afternoon, you're telling them there's no urgency. There's no rush. Car's going to be here forever. Take your time. And when you ask them non-appointment questions like, is it just minivans you're looking for, or are you also looking for midsize SUVs? See, when you try to qualify them over the phone by asking those silly road to the sale questions, those are all weak appointment talk tracks that guarantee you a low appointment show rate. Now, let's talk about some sample strong talk tracks. Let's do the inbound call. Now, it's important to understand 70% of the people who call us are asking about availability. They're ready to buy. We know they've done hours and hours. And Google says more than 19 hours of research online. They've looked at more than 24 different sources of information. They did not call us and ask if it's in stock because they're taking a poll. They want to buy the car. So it's important that you create some urgency. Someone calls, we pick up the phone, right? We answer the phone in our dealership and the customer says, hey, I'm looking at this 2010 Honda Odyssey you've got on AutoTrader. Is it still in stock? My answer is, in a way to create some urgency, is I saw that vehicle this morning, but at the price we have it listed at, it's not going to make it through the weekend. Now, we do have 2 test drives open on that minivan this afternoon. We've got a 1245 and a 115. Which one works better for you? See, we created urgency 2 ways. First, we said, at the price we have it listed at, it's not going to make it through to the weekend. And then we said that we have 2 test drives open on that vehicle this afternoon. We've got a 1245 and a 115. Which one works better for you? See, the customer now has been taken off of Saturday because we tried to get them in today. We created that urgency, right, about saying it's not going to make it through to the weekend. And then we created urgency by giving them the impression that people were lined up to test drive that vehicle. You've got to create that urgency or you're never going to get an appointment that shows. Now, I told you a minute ago, the reason that they called, right, there's this great call review study out there that shows 7 out of 10 consumers call about availability. 7 out of 10 of your sales calls are about product availability. Is it in stock? The others, price, financing, ads, appraisals. But here's the deal. Every call is in order. They're trying to buy. They've done all their research. They're wanting to buy the car from you. So stop asking silly questions and just set the appointment. Now, let's talk about what they're really saying, okay? So let's take a close look at this. They called us and said, is it still in stock? Right? What they're really saying is it still in stock because I've been searching online forever and this is the exact vehicle I want to buy, so I'm hoping you'll sell it to me without taking advantage of me, so I hope it's still in stock. Is it? The reason that they are not telling us all those things that are in white, the reason they're only saying what's in blue, is it still in stock, is because they're afraid of us. They don't want us to take advantage of them. But what they're really saying, they're not taking a poll, is it in stock because I want to buy it? That's why we come back with, if someone had said that, what would you come back with? You'd say, I saw that vehicle this morning, but the price we have it listed at, it's not going to make it through the weekend. Now, I do have 2 test drives open on that vehicle this afternoon. I've got a 1245 and a 115. Which one works better for you? You see, once we understand what they're really saying, what the customer is really telling us, we can keep the urgency in there and set an appointment that shows. So let's look at another. What are they really saying, right? The customer says, does it have third row seats? Well, guess what they're really saying? They're saying, does it have third row seats? Because I really want to buy it, and I thought if I asked you a question where I already know the answer, I can create some smoke screen while also testing to see how authentic you are, so does it? They want to buy. No one's asking about third row seats because they don't want third row seats. No one's asking about third row seats unless they really want them. In the old school training, we would have said, does it have third row seats? Our sales managers would have taught us to say, are third row seats important to you? That's inauthentic today. That customer will not buy from you. They will not set an appointment, and if they set an appointment, they have no intention of showing because you're inauthentic. They said, does it have third row seats? And they're only asking you that because they don't know. They don't want to say, I really want to buy that minivan. I really want to buy that SUV. Will you sell it to me? So our answer to does it have third row seats? Of course, if it does have third row seats, yes, that vehicle does have third row seats. And at the price we have it listed for, it won't make it through to the weekend. Now, I do have 2 test drives open on that vehicle this afternoon. I've got a 1245 and a 115. Which one of these works better for you? Are you noticing a trend? I hope you're noticing a trend. And this is where BDCs and internet salespeople fail to set strong appointments, fail to set, say, a 25% show to lead ratio, which should be your minimum. Let me say that again. That means for every 100 leads you get 25 minimum warm bodies to show up for an appointment on time. And you can do that easily if you take control of the call right from the beginning and you keep that only goal in mind, an appointment that shows, and you don't use weak talk tracks. You understand what they're saying and you go for the appointment every single time, no matter what question it is they're asking. So again, let's go through one more. What are they really saying, okay? They ask us, is that your best price? But what are they really saying? They're saying, is that your best price? Because it's actually already a great price, and I just want to be sure you're not trying to trick me somehow. So if that is your best price, I'll drop everything and I'll come down right now to buy it. So is it your best price? Why don't they tell us the stuff in the white? because they know that we'll take advantage of them. At least that's what they believe. So they say, is that your best price? And you know what you do? You stumble around, you fumble around, and you say something like, well, we're not really allowed to give a better price over the phone, but I do know that my manager usually knocks $200 to $300 or $400 off of that. So yeah, when would you like to come in and see it? Completely weak. Completely weak. They're calling you about the vehicle because you're priced to market. They're willing to buy it for what you have it listed for. They're just not sure if that's truly your best price, and they want to give it the college try, right? They want to just get one more shot. Maybe they can get $200 or $300 off. Don't do it. You're giving away all your grosses. So now that we know what they're really saying, let's give you a strong word track to respond to that. So they're really saying, is that your best price? Because I want to buy it because it's a great price. You're going to respond back with, listen, if you've been shopping online, you know that we price all of our vehicles competitively right from the beginning. We would never dream of insulting our customers by showing you our second best price and then making you jump through a bunch of hoops to find some hidden best price. Now, that Ford Focus is priced to sell at $16,300, and it likely won't make it through to the weekend at that price. Now, I do have 2 test drives open on that Focus this afternoon. I've got a 1245 and a 115. Which one works better for you? So are you noticing a trend here? Are you noticing a theme, right? We keep circling back to our goal, our one goal, and that's an appointment that shows. This goes for all inbound calls, text messages, outbound calls, chats, any sort of two-way, messenger, whatever communication you're doing that's two-way with the customer, you need to take control and you need to use talk tracks like we've just been going through. So you have one goal and it's an appointment that shows. Your goal on the phone, text, chat, doesn't matter, is not to build phony rapport. You can't do that today with today's customer. They're ready to buy. They're not going to fall for it. Do not conduct a needs analysis. That's not your job on the phone. You have one job, and it's an appointment that shows. They've already done their own needs analysis, their own feature presentation, their own product selection. They're ready to buy. You're only going to blow up your chance to sell them a car if you try to do a needs analysis over the phone. And don't try to gather as much information as possible from the prospect. Get the information you need for an appointment. Name, phone number, email address. That's it. Vehicle they want. That's it. Don't try to dig into their trade information, because once you start talking about things like trade, they're going to go off in a new direction. They're going to think, gosh, yeah, I only have 6 more payments. Why would I want to get a new car? Your goal is an appointment that shows. So let's treat every call, every lead, every text, every chat like it's an order. Answer their question and circle back to your goal. Answer their question, circle back to your goal. Answer their question, circle back to your goal. It's your choice. You can close your phone calls at 8%, which I have clients who let their floor answer their calls, and guess what? Because their floor doesn't follow the same process that a solid BDC will do, they're closing their phone calls at about 8%. That means out of every 100 phone calls they get, they sell 8 cars. Guess what? If you'll follow my talk tracks, you should be able to count on about a 40% or better close rate of your inbound calls, because remember, almost every call you're getting is about availability. They're ready to buy. Handle the customer the right way and start closing at 40% or better. That means out of every 100 inbound sales calls you get, you'll sell about 40 vehicles versus 8% or selling 8 vehicles. It really is that dramatic. So we used a strong talk track, right? We stayed to our goals of an appointment today or tomorrow, right? I really tried to get that customer, right? I told him, that vehicle's not going to make it through to the weekend. I told him about today's, I've got 2 test drives open this afternoon, 1245, 115. I stayed on all of that, and I stayed to my goal. Is there anything else that achieves a strong appointment setting, that achieves this first step that we want? And it's yes, there is something else. We need to get a verbal commitment and a mental commitment from the prospect. Now, the verbal commitment is, Mrs. Jones, will you make it for your 5:15 appointment? She says yes. That's a verbal commitment. But we need something stronger. We need her to mentally commit to coming in for an appointment. And we get this mental commitment through something we call the recap. And the recap is not an option, okay? Again, your goal is not to get off the phone quickly. Your goal is an appointment that shows. So if you're not good with the recap, and we're going to do the recap in just a second, then practice it again and again and again and again and again and again. I deal with so many BDCs and internet salespeople that once they have the appointment set, they get scared, right? Once Mrs. Jones has said, or Mr. Jones, hey, 5:15 works great, okay? They say, great, we'll see you at 5:15. Be sure and ask for me. Click. Because they're so afraid of blowing it up that they want to get off the phone. No, now's the time to slow it down, right? I told this prospect, I said, we've got 2 test drives open on that vehicle this evening. We've got a 515, 545. Which one works better for you? And he came back and said 515 works great. This is where we can get the mental commitment by going through the recap that we're going to do in just a second. When you do the recap and they agree to it, they're going to feel guilty if they no-show. By the way, here's one quick tip to know if you're doing the recap or not, if your team is doing the recap or not, and then we'll do the recap. And that is this. If you're getting more missed appointments than you're getting cancellations, then you're not doing the recap. So let me take you through what I mean here. Let's say you have a 50% show rate in your dealership for appointments set. Well, number one, you're setting weak appointments. Now, where are you set? Why are they weak appointments? Are they too far away, right? Are you not setting them for today or tomorrow? Are you asking weak questions like, when would you like to come in? And they say Saturday, right? You're setting weak appointments that way. They don't feel like appointments to the customers. Or are you not doing the recap? Well, your 50% show rate, let's say out of every 10 no-shows of your 50% show rate, let's say 7 of them just miss their appointment, just blow you off. They don't even call. And only 3 call to cancel or change their appointment. Well, I can tell you right now that you're not doing the recap enough. You should get more cancellations than you get missed appointments. But here's the great news. When you do the recap, you get fewer of both. You get fewer missed appointments, you get fewer cancellations. But again, if you're doing the recap properly, people are going to feel guilty if they no-show, so they will call you in advance, which isn't a terrible thing. All right, let's do the recap real quick, just so we understand how it goes. Great, Mr. Jones. Just to recap, we're going to see you tonight at 5:15 to test drive the 2017 Dodge Charger. Now, Mr. Jones, we're going to get that Charger clean, gas, parked out front so that when you arrive, you're in and out and on your test drive within 5 minutes. Now, Mr. Jones, if anything happens to us or your Charger, we're going to be sure and call you well in advance so you don't waste a trip down here. And all I'm asking from you is that you show me the same courtesy. So can I count on you for today at 5:15? When he says yes to can I count on you for today at 5:15, I'm going to tell you that's almost a 100% show. An appointment set for today that I used strong talk tracks on, and I did the recap and got that mental commitment. The only reason he won't show today is because something else came up, because you did the recap. That's how important the recap is. It's not an option. Do not shortcut the recap. All right, that was step 1. Let's talk about step 2 of the perfect appointment. That's appropriate appointment confirmation. And just like step 1, our only goal is an appointment that shows. That's the goal of the appointment confirmation. Now, the key here, though, is they need to know they have an appointment. That may sound silly, but you know what? When you make a good confirmation call, as managers, when you start making those good confirmation calls, you'll uncover soft appointment setting right away. You'll hear prospects say to you on the phone, 5:15? I didn't agree to 5:15. Customer didn't even know they had an appointment. We have to make it clear they have an appointment in step 1. In step 2, we're going to do that appropriate appointment confirmation. And I call it this because it's a little bit different for each appointment. That's why it's called appropriate appointment confirmation. But it's going to start with a thank you confirmation with the particulars. Now, this is generally an email, all right? And so in that email, I'm going to send something like a boarding pass, okay? Do you think that Barbara Jones knows that she has an appointment if she's got this in the body of the email? I'll bet she does. I'll bet she realizes how important that appointment is. So I'm going to send her an email with a calendar link, right, where she can click on the link and it automatically puts our appointment in her calendar. There'll be a directions link where she can click on that link and automatically open up our dealership in Google Maps, right? Because maybe she's looking at this email on her phone. She'll immediately have great directions in her Google Maps from our appointment confirmation email that we sent her. And we're going to do a boarding pass. Now, I also want to get permission, if possible, to text the confirmation to them. Now, when you get permission, this verbal permission, Mrs. Jones, is it okay if I text you the confirmation information for your appointment? When she says yes to that, that doesn't mean start texting her like crazy. Always, always, always use a double opt-in. That's where the text message I send her is going to be asking for permission one more time, where she has to reply Y for yes in order for me to start sending her text messages. That's important. It's outside the realm necessarily of appropriate appointment confirmation. It's more about keeping your dealership compliance with the TCPA, but it is part of what we're talking about today. Now, we did an email. We did a text message. Should we call? Yes. Every appointment that's at least 4 business hours away requires a confirmation call. Within 4 hours, your managers need to make the decision if they're going to call or not. Now, the manager should be the one that makes the one confirmation call to your prospect. Now, why the manager? 2 reasons. One, they will uncover soft appointment setting right away. If they use the right confirmation verbiage, now, they're not confirming an oil change, right? We don't call the customer and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is Steve Stauning calling from Steve's Ford. Yeah, I'm just calling to confirm your 5:15 appointment. Great, bye, click, right? That's how you confirm an oil change. We're not confirming an oil change. We're confirming the purchase of a $40,000 vehicle. And so we're going to use recap-like verbiage, right? We're going to talk to her about how great it is. We can't wait to see her. And we're going to talk about that, we're going to get that vehicle clean, gas parked out front, ready to go. And if for any reason she can't make it, we're just asking that she give us a courtesy call, right? We're going to make sure that she understands how important it is that she give us that call and all of the things we're going to do to get ready. That's how we confirm it. Now, all we're going to do is it's just going to be a call with some thank you. And we're going to do it about 4 business hours before the appointment. Now, if the appointment is within that time frame, we're going to make a decision. If I were a manager, a desk manager, and I was tasked with making confirmation calls, remember I have one goal, and that's an appointment that shows. So let's say that my salesperson talked to a customer at 9 a.m. at their job, and they're not going to come in until near the end of lunch hour, about 12:30. It's about 3.5 hours away, right? I'm going to go ahead and make a confirmation call on that, right? Because it's within the time frame, but I still want to make sure, again, that the customer shows. And just like with the strong appointment setting, we want to make the customer feel guilty if they no-show. Now, it's called appropriate appointment confirmation because not all appointments are the same. So let's say that the appointment's in 20 minutes, okay? Let's say that the customer is standing on another dealer's lot across town. They saw our vehicle on their mobile device. They called in. Our salesperson took the call, set the appointment. It shows up in my CRM on my appointment log, and it's 20 minutes away. I'm going to listen to the customer call, or I'm going to look at the notes, customer on the way. I'm not calling to confirm. I don't want to scare the customer away. Remember, our only goal of step 2, appropriate appointment confirmation, is to get an appointment that shows they're on their way. The only thing I can do is screw it up if I make that call as a manager. But what I will do to make sure that I understand that all of my managers are looking at the appointments and making appropriate appointment confirmation is I am going to mark that appointment confirmed in the CRM, and then I'm going to put a quick note, not confirmed, customer on the way. It's marked confirmed because we did look at it, we confirmed they're going to come, but we didn't necessarily call the customer. All right. How about the appointment's 3 weeks away? How do we confirm that? Well, wait a minute, Steve, you said appointments for today or tomorrow only. Okay, here's the scenario. You're a Los Angeles dealer, and you've got someone who's called you, you're a Dodge dealer, someone who's called you from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, because he's going to get out of the service in 3 weeks. He's a soldier, he's in the Army now, he lives in Los Angeles, he wants to buy a brand new Charger. He's got lots of money from his time overseas, and he's going to be home in 3 weeks, and you've got the perfect Charger right now at your dealership, and he wants to get more information about it. I'm going to go ahead and set that appointment for 3 weeks from now. I'm going to send him an email with the boarding pass, right? All that confirmation. I'm going to get permission to text him so that I can send him a couple of texts over the 3 weeks to make sure he's going to make it. And we're going to make that call the day before to make sure that he's going to be on time. But our goal is an appointment that shows he's going to be here in 3 weeks. What if I get his address at Fort Bragg and I say, hey, soldier, listen, I want to send you a brochure about the 2017 Charger. Can you do me a favor? Can you give me your mailing address? We'll get that brochure in the mail today. Listen, I was in the Marine Corps. We love getting snail mail. He's going to love to get that. He's going to give you his mailing address at Fort Bragg. But I'm not just going to send him a brochure. I'm going to go into the parts department and I'm going to get a Charger hat. And I'm going to get a Charger t-shirt, right? Extra large. Everybody can wear those. And I'm going to send him a personal letter from the owner thanking him for his service, telling him how excited we are to see him in 3 weeks, giving him that information about our appointment right in the body of that letter, and asking him if he would happily wear our hat and t-shirt when he shows up for his appointment. Do you think he's going to keep his appointment in 3 weeks? Absolutely. That's called appropriate appointment confirmation. We have one goal, and that's an appointment that shows. So some of these things you're going to have to use your head on, and you're going to have to try to figure out, listen, what do we do? All right. We got a no-show, Steve. No-show. Listen, no problem, okay? We're going to investigate no-shows at the scheduled appointment time. That means if our customer had a 5:15 appointment, guess what? At 5:15, they are late. we're going to do a quick call, right? And the call is simply this. Hey, Mrs. Jones, it's Steve calling from Steve's Ford. Just want to make sure you're able to find our facility. That's it. That's the call. Nothing more than that. We are going to make that call because we're going to find out that she's down the street. We're going to find out that she's stuck in traffic. We're going to find out she forgot, right? And then in which case she'll reschedule. We'll maybe push it out 45 minutes, whatever it is. But if we don't make that call, remember, we made her feel guilty if she no-showed. And if we wait till tomorrow to make that call, even if she just forgot, it's too late. But guess what? When we make that call, there's a good chance she could be sitting in the box at another dealership. And this is our only chance to pull her out of the box and into our dealership. So we're going to make that no-show call at the scheduled appointment time. And when you do that, you'll get more reschedules and you'll know exactly when your customers are going to show up for the ones that are running a little bit late. All right, that's step 1. Step 2. Step 3. This is pre-appointment preparation. This is where most dealers fall down. I don't know why, because it requires work, I guess. I don't know. But it's a really simple process when done right. I'm going to show you a lot of ways that dealers are not doing this right today. So this is where we're going to get the vehicle cleaned. We're going to get it gassed. We're going to park it in a designated area, and we're going to do it 45 minutes before the scheduled appointment time. We're going to get a deal jacket ready, right? We're going to put VIP in large letters on that jacket. We're going to put the keys with the deal jacket, and we're going to put that whole deal jacket with its keys at the sales tower, at the desk, with the sales manager. See, we want the customer to meet the sales manager in the 4th step of the perfect appointment. We cannot give them the VIP treatment if they don't meet a manager. So the best way to have them meet a manager is put all of that stuff at the desk. Now, managers, you need to go through this folder before the customer arrives. You need to memorize as much as you can about Barbara Jones coming tonight at 5:15. Because once you can understand what she's coming to see, what she's coming to drive, maybe we have her trade information in there. Now you can start to use the right word tracks when she gets there and do some nice trial closes that don't sound smarmy. Sales reps, if the BDC is setting an appointment for the floor and you're potentially the one that's going to be helping Barbara Jones, learn all about Barbara Jones before she gets there. She's already been through everything. Remember, she did all these hours of research before she ever called us. We told her the vehicle would be clean, gas, parked out front, ready to go, so that when she arrives, she can be in and out and on her test drive within 5 minutes. If she shows up and you take her back to step 1 of the road to the sale and you start doing needs analysis and product selection and feature presentation and you do a silly old school meet and greet, you are going to close her at 20%. I've seen it. So on the pre-appointment preparation, read the folder, learn all about it, okay? Learn everything that we're doing. Now, when I talk about clean and gassed, I want to be clear, okay? The gas warning light should never go on during the test drive. That's the litmus test, okay? We're going to make sure that the warning light never goes on during the test drive. It doesn't have to be a full tank of gas, but we don't want any warning lights on during the test drive, or actually, believe it or not, the customer is less likely to buy that vehicle. Now, clean means ready to drive home, okay? We have to keep the labels on by law, but I'm not talking about dealer clean. Let me show you a dealer clean vehicle that I saw recently when I was inspecting the perfect appointment. So the picture all the way on the left, that's the mirror. You can see the water spots on the mirror. And it's usually hard to see in pictures, but that's how dirty this vehicle was. Now, to us at the dealership, it looks great, right? But that's what we call dealer clean. It's not delivery ready. I'm not ready to drive it home. And by the way, those water spots weren't just on the mirror. That was water and dust spots all over. The second picture over, you can see the floor mats in the bag. Pick those up, put them behind the seat. The customer doesn't need to see this. Also, you can see the floor is filthy. It's a little hard to see, but all those little white spots, that was trash on the floor. That was dirt and grime and trash and little torn pieces of paper. You can see that we left factory labels on the air conditioning console in the back seat, on the back window. We left these things everywhere. And then also, even on the back window, we left all that grease paint, all that window paint. Why? Because we thought it was clean enough. It was dealer clean. It's not ready to drive home. You want to close people at 40%, show them this vehicle. You want to close them at 80%, treat it like they already bought the car. That's how you're going to get ready for it, okay? Except we're going to leave the labels on that are required by law, but everything else goes. We're going to hide things like the floor mats. We're going to put them in the trunk. We're going to put them behind the back seat. We're going to do something with those so that they're not just thrown out on the floor. When I say parked in a designated area, dealers fall apart on this. It has to be 45 minutes or more before. The reason for this is, what if they're early? I've seen this happen, right? We're getting ready for an appointment, and the customer shows up early, all right, 30 minutes early. We haven't got the car ready yet, and we're over by the car with the jumper box. Hey, Mrs. Jones, we're jumping your Camry over here. She now believes that she's going to buy a lemon, and she won't buy it. She's picturing herself stuck on the freeway in your car, and she won't buy it. It doesn't matter that we know that any car that's sat for 30 days on a dealer's lot probably needs to be jumped. She doesn't want to see it. See, we're going to be putting on a show in the fourth step of the perfect appointment, in-store VIP treatment. And so we need to make sure that no prospect sees the behind the scenes for our show. So that's why we're going to get it ready early. Now, when I say in a designated area, I need this Camry to be away from all of the other vehicles, all of the other Camrys, because otherwise they're going to get car drunk. See, we're going to treat this like it's a delivery when they get here. We're going to act like they bought this car. So again, it's got to be ready to drive home, and that means I don't have to pull out 6 vehicles to get it. It's backed into a sold vehicles only sign. It's got a hang tag that says reserved for Barbara Jones, VIP, right? Those work great, but don't overthink this stuff. It's important. This is where dealers start to fall apart. They start to overthink simple things like this. So I have shown you a sign that says sold vehicles only. I showed, hundreds of dealers this sign. Most of them won't put the sign in place. They don't think it's that important. Great. If you don't understand the dynamic of the customer walking up to this car, she sees her name, Barbara Jones, in the hang tag, reserved for her. She looks up, she sees sold vehicles only in the spot that it's parked in. You know what she thinks? She thinks she bought the car. She will buy the car unless you lied to her at this point. She really will. This is how you close at 80%. So if you don't think you need the sold vehicles only sign, no problem. Don't put up a sold vehicles only sign. Close at 60%, 55% instead of at 80%. It's called the perfect appointment for a reason. Now, I said sold vehicles only, but guess what? Some of the people I trained on this sign, sold vehicles only, guess what they put up? They put up signs that said things like sold delivery area. What does that mean? Some of you are thinking, well, Steve, that's the same thing as sold vehicles only. To you it is. To me it is. To the customer it's not. They don't know what delivery area means. Sold delivery area. Sold vehicles only. I've also seen VIP appointment parking. Yet they park the customer's new car in that spot. It's not reserved parking for the VIP appointment customer. It's where they're putting the car that the customer's going to buy. So it's not a car that's been sold. It's a car that's waiting for someone to take out on a test drive for the appointment. There's no commitment on the part of the prospect. They don't look at VIP appointment parking and go, oh my God, I think I bought that car. They don't even think about it. And here's another one that I've seen a dealer do that I taught them, sold vehicles only, and they did VIP delivery area. Why? Why? Well, it says VIP, Steve, makes the customer feel like a VIP. No, it doesn't. They don't know what any of that means. Sold vehicles only. Makes them think they bought the car, that you put it there so no one else takes it. End of story. Stop overthinking this. We want to treat this like a done deal in the next stage. We want to treat this customer when they show up on that fourth step, in-store VIP treatment, as if they've already bought the car. That's what's going to happen. Now, Steve, the deal jacket created in advance? Holy cow. We can't do that. Yes, you can, because you're going to close it 80% of the time if you'll do it. And it doesn't have to be a real jacket. It could just be a manila folder, right? Right, with nothing in it, but maybe a couple pieces of paper about the appointment. This is not for you, it's for them. It's a show we're putting on in the fourth step of the perfect appointment. Don't overthink this. And whatever you do, don't put your own spin on this. This closes at 80%. We're going to put the keys with the jacket. We're going to take you to the desk. I'm going to take you through that in a minute, what's going to go on. But don't overthink this. We taught this, okay? We taught this to 150 dealers over the course of, I think, 6 or 7 weeks. And then we went back and inspected some of the dealers, and we found stuff like this. So this says VIP. It's got Barbara Jones' name on it. This just says VIP. You know why they did this? They wanted to save money. These cost them 12 cents a piece to make. Oh. They didn't want to have to keep making them. And so they did this. Does the customer feel like a VIP? No. Doesn't matter what that says. That's cheesy. This has their name printed on it. They're going to like their name. How about another one? So we taught this. And we had a dealer create this. Wow. You know why they did this? Because color printing was too expensive and it was too hard to find a way to set up the template. So it's just easier to write it with a Sharpie. Terrible. That's, by the way, this is your team's handwriting, right? We all think we have good handwriting. This is your team's handwriting. So again, we taught this and the dealer said, I'm going to do that. And so they went out to FedEx and they got FedEx printing and they printed up a whole bunch of them, but then they don't run them through their printer when the customer has been selected to put the customer's name on it. They just write it on there. Is there a difference? Yes. There's a difference in the customer's eye when they see these things. You're not going to close at 80%. I'm telling you. You might be thinking, Steve, these are minor. It's called the perfect appointment for a reason. If you want to close at 80%, do it my way. Do it perfectly first and then improve on it. So again, we taught this. We got this. Steve, that's just like the last one. No. This guy knew he was going to handwrite. The last guy thought he was going to print and never did. This guy knew he was going to handwrite from the beginning and put blanks in there. Terrible. Probably one of the, I'm not going to say worse. They're all bad. They're all bad. We taught this. Do this. We get this. We get this. It's got all this details on it. I asked one general manager. This is more than one store, by the way. So, by the way, if you're a client of mine, you're saying, hey, that looks a lot like our folder. I hope he's not making fun of us. No. Multiple clients did this. I asked one dealer in Oklahoma who was doing something like this. I said, is this your VIP folder for BDC appointments? He said, yeah. I said, it's really hard. Customer can't even read their name on there. And he said, no, Steve, this is for us, not for them. I'm like, what? This is for them. It's a show. When you do the VIP folder the right way, you know what you're going to get? Because I've seen it. You're going to get customers while your sales manager's talking to the customer, about to hand the keys off to the product specialist, holding the folder up, talking to them. You're going to have customers who lean in and say, I've never been a VIP before. You know why they say that? Because it says VIP and their name is printed. It makes a difference. Stop overthinking this stuff. Stop trying to cheat it. Stop trying to shortcut it. That's why you're not closing at 80%, because you're shortcutting the steps. Now, again, the managers and reps need to memorize as much about the appointment as possible from the jacket. This is because we want to make their first visit, when they get there, we want to make it feel special. See, we already know who they are, and we already know what they're buying. And if we do that, we can treat them like VIPs when they arrive, versus asking them some silly road to the sale questions like, what brings you out today? Are you going to primarily use this vehicle for business or pleasure? We don't have to ask silly questions like that anymore because we know what they're going to buy. Now, before we hit the final step of the in-store VIP treatment, let's understand what's supposed to transpire here in the mind of the prospect, okay? Their experience with us in buying this car, it should be a wow experience for them. In fact, this final step in the perfect appointment is all about the experience, and this includes a shortened road to the sale. Our goal has to be 60 minutes or less, including F&I. This wow experience includes in-store transparency, both on the price side and the process side. On the price side, they should already know the price of the vehicle, right? If they're an internet appointment, they've got our price. That's the price. The price is the price. There's no reason to change it. Don't try to flip them. Don't try to start at MSRP plus and try to bring them down somewhere else. You're going to close them at 20%. They understand what the price is, but in-store transparency around price is also around their trade. Let's get a tablet with something like AutoFi on it, and let's take them through their trade so that they can see what the book value is before we go on the test drive. Now there's some price transparency, but it's also in-store transparency around process. That means they know everything we're going to do before we do it. So we say things like, great, let me get your driver's license. We'll get it scanned. We'll get you out on the test drive. They know why we need their driver's license. The manager, when he meets them, he's going to shake their hand and he's going to say, you're going to absolutely love the new Taurus. When you come back from the test drive, we'll go ahead and do the numbers. That's process transparency. They know the next step. They know why we're doing everything. It's also, this wow experience is about being human, okay? They're a prospect, not a suspect. Stop treating your ups like suspects. Some of you are so afraid of wasting 20 minutes on someone who can't buy that you ask them all those qualifying questions that just pisses off someone with a 750 credit score, and you're not closing them because of it. Stop. Just treat everybody like they're here to buy. Act like you're dealing with a friend. Be human, speak human. Use an active and direct language. No silly road to the sale questions, okay? I don't want to know what colors they won't consider. I don't want to know, is it just minivans they're looking at, or are they also looking at midsize SUVs? Direct language, let's test drive your vehicle, let's do the numbers, right? We're going to take them in, we're going to take them out, we're going to close them at 80%. It's also a wow experience because we keep them engaged. That means they stay with our sales rep the entire time, because when they do this, time flies. When we keep them engaged, that's also about having that tablet. Let's get a tablet with AutoFi on it, and let's go through and we'll do the trade right there on the tablet together. We can even self-desk from the tablet. The customer can desk their own deal, can choose their own bank, log in with their own bank, okay? This cuts down the time that they need to do on the credit approval, on the credit application. They can log in to their own bank on AutoFi, right? Let's take them through everything. Let's take them into F&I as well using that same tablet, keeping them going. This makes the time go by quickly. Let's make sure that we're assuming the sale throughout. Let's stop trying to flip them. Let's assume that they're here to buy this vehicle. We know from AutoTrader that 71% of used car buyers in 2015 bought the vehicle they intended, and that 77% of new car buyers bought the vehicle they intended. People already made their decision. You think you're slick because you're trying to flip them like it's 87 and it's not. You can't do it anymore. That's why you're only closing your appointments at 20 or 30%. And let's make it a wow experience by having a one-goal strategy throughout. And it's really 3 goals, but we're only going to take them through each goal one at a time. Now, our ultimate goal is to sell a car. But when they show up, our first goal is the demo drive. We know we can't do numbers until we do the test drive. So we're going to get them out right on the demo drive right away. When we're on the demo drive, our next goal is to do the numbers. That's it. We're going to push a piece of paper in front of them and they're going to sign. And then our next goal is F&I. It's a one-goal strategy throughout. That's what creates the wow experience. Now, Steve, my team says we're doing the perfect appointment. I see the folders. I see we get the cards ready. I know they're ready on time. But we're only closing at 50%. Let me tell you how to know if your team is really doing the perfect appointment. Because there are lots of box checkers in automotive, people who check boxes, right? They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. In fact, I know some dealers who show their owner an 80% show and an 80% close on the paperwork. And it's all BS. They're lying. They're box checking. They're telling you what you want to hear. So there's one activity. If you're not seeing this one activity, then your team is not doing the perfect appointment. And depending on the size of your store, you could see this one activity every day. Smaller stores once a week or once every other week. But dealers who are doing the perfect appointment, they have customers coming out of F&I, right? Coming out of the back after we've made great front and back grosses. And these customers, they find the very first manager they can, and they stick their hand out and they shake his or her hand and they say, "This is the best car buying experience I've ever had, the absolute best car buying experience I've ever had." And they're thrilled. And let me go back to what happened. They came out of F&I. We just took their head off. We made great front and back grosses. And the first thing they do is they look for a manager and they shake his or her hand and they're just so excited. "Oh my gosh, this is the best car buying experience I've ever had." And that's because it took 60 minutes. That's because we listened to them the entire time. That's because we pulled them through our process in a nice, efficient way. That's because we were ready for them and we didn't treat them like a suspect. We didn't make them feel like they couldn't buy. Instead, we treated them like they already bought. See, this is a process, especially step 4. And I'll tell you what about top managers, top salespeople, and top dealers. They see everyone as a buyer, but they know they can't win them all. See, they understand that sales is a numbers game. So they don't fall in love with any trade, any buyer, any vehicle, and change their process just to fit that one customer. They stick to their process like the perfect appointment, step for step, because they know process outsells the opposite. And they also know this. Top managers, top salespeople, they know that no matter how smart they are, they will never try to outsmart the process because they're not as smart as the process. All right, time for step 4 of the perfect appointment, and that's in-store VIP treatment. That's where we're greeted and treated like a VIP by a manager. And if the manager can't greet and treat them like a VIP right away, then the turnover is immediate. That's why we put the folder at the desk with the keys so that we can take them over there. But this is what they expect. The guy on the right is what they expect when they pull up to your dealership, and we're going to give them the girl on the left, okay? We're going to give them the person that they just didn't expect to see. We're going to have this manager. She's going to come out from behind the desk. She's going to see this Barbara Jones pulling up in a 2004 Ford Focus, right? That we know that she's going to trade. She's going to walk up to her. She's going to open the door. She's going to say, "Are you Barbara Jones?" Barbara's going to say, "Yes, I am." She's going to say, "Hey, great. I'm Marion. Well, you're just going to absolutely love the new Taurus. Come on, let's go get your keys," right? She's going to take her right in. She's going to treat her. She greeted her by her name. She's going to treat her like a VIP. She's not going to ask any road to the sale questions. She doesn't care why Barbara wants the Taurus. Let's say Barbara's coming out of a big F-150 or something and going down into a Yaris, or she doesn't care what changed in Barbara's life. No road to the sale questions. Barbara's already been through all of those on her own. We're going to have a done deal attitude. Anything we say is going to be a trial close, like, "Let's go get the keys to your new Taurus." Okay, that's a trial close. Another trial close is when we hand the keys in the folder off to our product specialist. We're going to say to Barbara, this is Bob. He's our product specialist on the Taurus. He's going to take you out on your test drive. When you get back, if you like the vehicle, we'll go ahead and do the numbers. Another trial close. She knows from what I just said that when she gets back from the test drive, we're going to do the numbers. See, we're going to treat every appointment like it's a delivery. And this is critical. You have to do the vehicle appraisal during the test drive. This is you, Mr. Manager, Ms. Manager. You've got to get their trade number during the test drive. Now, this may mean that your salesperson goes outside with a tablet, takes the customer with them, does the trade walk where they downsell the trade properly, but gets the information about their trade and maybe even shows them MMR or wholesale black book, right? Shows the customer some lousy number for their trade and says, don't worry, that's just a computer. My manager's going to take a look at it while we're on the test drive. Then once we're on the test drive, the manager does need to value that trade to put a firm number on it, a good number and a firm number. Because what we want to have happen is when they get back from the test drive, within minutes of getting back from the test drive, we want to hand them a bottle of water and the full deal. We want to give them the write-up. What doesn't matter what you're using. You can use a Foursquare, whatever you're using, doesn't matter. Hopefully it's on a tablet. And the numbers in what we give them are going to support everything that we've talked about so far. Now, the done deal attitude, well, let me tell you what this means. It means we're going to treat everyone like they've already done a needs analysis. We're going to treat everyone as if they've completed their product selection. We're going to treat everyone as if they know the car's features. We're going to believe that everyone's ready for a test drive because everybody is already a qualified buyer. So everything that we do is naturally a trial close, right? If we were talking to someone who actually ordered the car online and already paid for it, we would talk to them in terms of they already own the car. That's how we're going to treat them during the fourth step of the perfect appointment. And everybody's going to start the paperwork. To get to 100% or to get to an 80% close rate of appointments that show, you got to get 100% write-up. If you don't get 100% write-up, you're not going to get an 80% close rate. It's as simple as that. Now, when I talk about keeping them engaged, I want you to understand, it's not just about making the time go quicker. We want to keep the VIP customer with the salesperson the entire time, okay? It means bringing them outside to gather information about the trade before the test drive, okay? Never leaving them alone. Like I said, maybe we have a tablet and they help us with everything. That makes the time go quicker, makes it shorter. But also, here's the deal. It keeps them from shopping you elsewhere. See this number, 82%? Google says that 82% of consumers use their smartphone as an in-store purchase assistant. Okay? What does that mean? It means they're shopping you. You leave them alone at the table while you go talk to the manager at the desk for 2 or 3 minutes, and guess what? Within 2 or 3 minutes, they now know what your neighboring dealers have on their lot. And they're going to tell you, you know what? We're going to head to lunch real quick. We'll be right back. They're not going to lunch. They're going to look at your competitor. Keep them engaged the entire time. All right. In order to do the perfect appointment, that fourth step, that in-store VIP treatment has to be controlled. That means we're going to pull them through our process. That has to make sense, that whole process. See, they're buying a car, not donating a kidney. So take them through a process that makes sense. Stop treating them like a suspect. Make sure it's efficient, okay? I know in the old school days that we wanted to slow people down because slower was better. Today it's not. Slower is not better today. If you want to close at 80%, do it in 60 minutes or less. Also, it's a buying process. The perfect appointment is a buying process. It's not a selling process. See, they don't feel sold. They feel like they bought the vehicle when we do the fourth step of the perfect appointment, in-store VIP treatment properly. And we need to assume the sale. Okay? We need to have a done deal attitude throughout as if they've already bought the vehicle. Remember, it's called the perfect appointment for a reason. If you want to freelance before your appointments are showing and closing 80%, go ahead, okay? Just pick where you want to be on this chart, okay? You want to treat them like a traditional up, right? You want to try to flip them into something else. You want to handwrite the VIP folder, or let's not do the VIP folder. I don't want the keys at the desk. I don't want some customer coming to bother me. I want Bob to keep the keys. That's his customer, okay? Every step that you cheat, shortcut, or shortchange makes your VIP feel more like a traditional up, okay? You're going to sell fewer cars. If you're not closing at 80%, you are shortcutting that fourth step or that third step of the perfect appointment. So the choice is yours, and I hope today was valuable. And don't just look at today's video, The Perfect Appointment, which is an updated version of the appointment culture. There's more information in the appointment culture, so go back to stevestauning.com and go back through all of the older videos around the appointment culture. Much of it hasn't changed. In fact, most of it hasn't changed. What I showed you today really is what a lot of dealers are doing that are simply not helping them sell any more cars. Now, please, use all of our free training. We have 100% free training at stevestauning.com and 100% free training at undeniableadvantage.com. Use all of that. Also, remember to like us on the Facebook. That's facebook.com/SM Stauning and facebook.com/UD Advantage. If you've got questions for me, contact me through stevestauning.com. Go up to Contact Steve, click on that form, fill out your question, send it to me directly. I appreciate your questions, and I don't mind answering them. Thank you for your time today. Please remember to follow me on the Twitter. That's at Steve Stauning on Twitter, and follow us on Twitter at UD Advantage. Thanks again for your time today.